Howdy, folks. With Wallace from NeatCoffee.com here. Back again from Dragon Con, and here for another Wayhomer review. Now for adjusting the air. For those of you who don't know what the hell this is, it's like this. I've just left the cinema where I've seen a film, and I'm going to tell you about that film on my way home. And today we're here to talk about Contagion. Okay, synopsis. How the hell do I synopsize this? Okay, here's the synopsis. You remember that movie with Dustin Hoffman, Outbreak? From like, I want to say it was like, this can't be that long ago, like 87 or something. Anyway, it's been a while. This is kind of like that, but less cheery, if that makes any sense. That's not the only synopsis you're getting. Basically, you have Gwyneth Paltrow's character, and it's not a spoiler, it's in the trailer, is pretty much at ground zero for a new type of virus, and brings it back to the U.S., dies. And meanwhile, it's spread elsewhere as well, and has been discussed and warned about, and all this other stuff. The film basically shows the reactions of everyone from ground level up through the echelons of government on how trying to deal with basically a superbug that is out to kill us all. That's pretty much your synopsis. I mean, you have different characters. You've got you've got Lawrence Fishburne at the CDC, and you've got Matt Damon, who's Gwyneth Paltrow's husband, at the ground level. You've got Jude Law, who's like an alternate medicine blogger type person. So you have these various people that are scattered about, and you're watching it happen, from their various perspectives, from their various stories. And it reminded me a lot of Soderbergh's version of Traffic that he did, in that there were multiple stories going on that all had an overarching story going on with them. Now, part of my problem with the movie Traffic is I actually saw the original miniseries, Traffic with a K. That's not what it's called. It's spelled Traffic with I-K at the end, which is really, really good. And so, unfortunately, I couldn't get off on the Soderbergh film as much as most people because I had seen the original and it was frankly better, partly due to the fact that it had more scale to it and partly because it was a miniseries and they could do more. So, anyway, all that being said, that entire story told from multiple perspectives in multiple locations and stuff like that, to me is used, again, here, but much more effectively. And again, maybe that's a comparison thing because, to my knowledge, there's no Contagion miniseries with a K or otherwise, Contagion, C-O-N. No, that I have to compare it to. So, okay, so here's the deal. The bottom line about the film is, when I saw the trailer, even with the cast, I was, I wouldn't say apprehensive, but perhaps a little underwhelmed until I found out that it was a Soderbergh film. And the reason why that is because, I mean, it just seems phenomenally easy to do some kind of outbreak film like an Irwin Allen production, in that you're watching all these different things happening from different perspectives and stuff like that. Anyone can try to do that, but in order to make it engaging so that you have these multiple characters who you actually feel for, to make it feel, I don't know, authentic, you need somebody who actually knows what they're doing. And Soderbergh, as a director, is, on his worst day, at least engaging, right? And Soderbergh also has, at least in the past, played the game of, well, let me go make the commercially, viable film, and then I'll go make my own indie film. So you could have, like, he could do, like, the Ocean's films, which are kind of like Cannonball Run with a heist theme, and then you could go and do Terrence Stamp and the Limey, which I'm one of, like, 5 people who've seen it, so please see it, it's really good. So once I found out that he was involved, I went, okay, I'm on board with this. I think this could be good. And the good news is, it really is good. I mean, it's a very interesting film, because you know how you go into films and they very obviously feel like they kind of like present the banner of what they are. I am a thriller. I am a drama. I am a merchant diary film. I am an animated thing with dancing rhinos, or whatever it is, right? So you really get the feel that the director is putting forward what it is, and it's very, like I said, waving the flag. This feels. It doesn't try to pass itself off as like a documentary. So it's not that like verite kind of thing of shaky cam and just being annoying in that way of trying to be what it's not. But it simply presents the story and presents things in very factual ways, i.e., here's what day of the outbreak it is. Here's where we are. Here's the population here. So everywhere you go, you're going, here's the potential victims. So from jump, the stakes are incredibly high, even before you know the nature of the virus that they're dealing with. And as a result of that, as a result of Soderbergh just sort of stepping back and letting it all, at least feeling like, I'm sure, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, you know, the duck swimming, right? Very calm on the surface, feet underneath the water paddling like hell. That's probably what's going on here. But it just feels very stripped down and authentic and finely crafted. And it's because it resonates as being so real that it works. And because it doesn't stray into, because I was afraid looking at the trailer, and I don't want to say too much, but I was afraid they were going to go in a certain direction with a certain subplot, and I think that may have been in the trailer specifically to throw you a red herring. And I don't want to spoil anything, so I can't go into it. You may have picked up on it too. But they didn't go in any one direction that would make it a thriller, you know, or a Lifetime original, or, you know, even like a Birdemic sci-fi original. I mean, it's right down the middle. It is what it is, and but it doesn't feel flat like that, because I know that sounds very sterile and very flat and uninteresting, but it's really not. And part of that is because they do have the cast they have, and I don't want to discount the fact that I don't get, you know, happy about seeing Lawrence Fishburne in a film or Jude Law in a film, because I do, but that doesn't always a good film make. But them playing these characters and feeling so real, like for example Matt Damon, who I've always really liked Matt Damon. He is in this film. You never at any point go, you're born. I mean, you know what I mean? You never, oh, it's Will Hunting. You never at any point, he just feels completely real. And, you know, all the actors feel completely detached from what they've done before, because they're playing what feel like real people. I mean, Gwyneth Paltrow has ultimately a very small role in the film. How brave is it to basically to be in a film where the image that they use to promote you in the film is of you dying and you look like a suffocating frog? I mean, honestly, if you've seen the poster, it's just like, whoa, that's really one of the most frightening things that you'll see. So, I mean, a great cast, great direction, and great execution. And really gets to the heart of the humanity of the situation. And I mean, it's just like, you know, I was at Dragon Con where we were on a zombie panel, and you know, Jonathan Mayberry was there, and the Zombie Squad people were there, and we were all talking about the aspect of those films as to asking the question, well, what would you do in this situation? And it's completely there in this one. It's like, well, what do? You know, what would you do facing down something like this? And what's actually, this is completely obvious, so it's almost pointless for me to say this, and they make a point of saying this, you know, at the end of the film, not in the film, but like in the credits, but zombies, not exactly likely to happen, right? But super flu, or super virus, or super bug, or ultra bug, or whatever the hell you want to call it, very, very likely, and will happen. So, first of all, who should go see this? Well, if you're a hypochondriac, for God's sake, stay home, because even normal people I mean, we're all sitting there in the theater, and this thing is going on. Somebody sneezed twice, and you could just feel everyone sort of laughing, like, ha ha, ha, it's not fucking funny, cut it out, right? So, I mean, so if you're paranoid about that stuff to begin with, like to excess, please do not see this film, because the people around you who love you will throw you out, okay? Because you will be unlivable. They can't live with you after this. As it stands, we're noticing, as we're leaving the theater and going to do the customary, wee time after the film before I get in the car. Oh, look, they seem to have added hand sanitizers everywhere. Or were they always there before and we just didn't notice them? So yeah, it's just an extremely solid, well-crafted film that doesn't slide in any one direction. It doesn't, and it's one of those things where it doesn't have to go, I'm a thriller, or I'm suspenseful, because it's inherent in the situation. And that's part of what Soderbergh's strength is. He knows when he doesn't have to, force his hand on that. So it's very good. Cup-wise, I think I'm going to have to give it a solid 4 out of 5. I was very happy with the film. As far as, should you see the film? Yes, again, unless you're one of those people who doesn't need to see the film, who I've already talked about. But should you see it on the big screen? I mean, if the idea of the film appeals to you, and it's the sort of thing that you don't mind spending that money for, that's fine. If you were to wait for DVD, Blu-ray, what have you, download iTunes, any of the 15,000 ways you have to watch movies now, would you lose much? I don't think so. I mean, again, there is something to be said for being in a theater and being told about, and again, this is in the trailer, how many times you touch your face and you realize you're resting your hand on your cheek and going, ah, So, there's something to be said for that, but if you want to save some bucks and see it later, I think you'll be fine. But I would advise seeing it. I'm very pleased with it, and again, very well executed, obviously very well written, very well directed, and the ensemble was great. So, yeah, that's what I got. So there you have it, Contagion. And we've got a bunch of other films coming out between now and the end of the year, and we'll try to hit as many of them as we can. Now, you can help with that. I'll throw this in. You can help with that by part of what we do at Need Coffee does, unfortunately, take money, because we don't live in a Star Trek universe where we can just gen up anything that we want. So you can financially support what we do at Need Coffee if you like these things by going to needcoffee.com/support, or even to needcoffee.com/sponsorship if you would like to throw us some money and get swag to boot. Which reminds me, I need to tell you soon about the new swag that we unveiled at DragonCon. Brand new swag. But that pays for things like the camera, like the gas, and even the movie tickets that I use, because I don't go to press screenings, I go to actual screenings with real live people, which I know is terrifying, but, what can you do? Or if nothing else, we would appreciate it, those people who enjoy these things, when you share them on Facebook or Google Plus or Twitter or what have you. That is helpful as well. It's extremely helpful. And all of that helps more than you know, so thank you. So that's it. We will see you next time on the Wayhomer Reviews, and I am almost home. We'll see you then. Bye. I know, but you never can be too careful.